Hi there, I'm Linda and this is Huttons Valley Permaculture. Just behind me here is the last frontier in terms of building my front yard vegetable garden. In today's video, we're going to build these two garden beds using the no-dig style. Although we did have a frost this morning, it has been a fairly mild winter and I'm finding this area that isn't controlled is going to be going to seed soon. So I really need to get these two garden beds done. While the frost this morning has knocked back the nasturtium just a little bit, it sort of makes no impact on some of these other plants which are about to flower, and I really want to stop them going to seed. I had been wanting to wait till this Savoy cabbage, a volunteer cabbage in this area, had finished, but I think that would not be good for the rest of the garden. So I'm just going to trim around this by hand first to look after this plant before I get the brush cutter out and get all of this down to the ground. I'll clear around this place just to make sure that I don't kind of cut it down in my enthusiasm for getting through this material. All right, I think that's given it enough clearance now. Well, that makes a really quick job of getting all this material down and close to the ground. Now I'm just going to get my pitchfork and just spread it out evenly and identify where the existing paths are. The existing paths are better defined now, but they still have some sort of weed creep on them, so I might cover those up with cardboard as well and just top up with some wood chips. Now the garden we're going to do is just a follow on from these paths that are over there that some are a bit hard to see. Now this path here will continue through here. There was already a path, but I'm going to define it better. That is a growing bed there that needs a good weed, and I'm going to be planting onion seedlings there soon. Currently this path's hard to see because I've got so many volunteers in here that I will have to move on. So there's a path that runs through here and just sort of curves through. So in the new space, we will have a path that runs right through the middle, and on either side of it will be two new garden beds, and I'll just be defining those two paths quite a bit more. So to get started, I'm going to start at this end because we know where the path has to come through, and layer up the cardboard and then layer my wood chips and my compost sort of as I go. It's quite a windy day, which makes it more challenging with laying the cardboard down. You need to kind of lay it down, hold it in place with the materials before kind of proceeding to the end of the bed. We're starting to create the first garden bed, being mindful that there's actually a path that comes down through here. So I'll be covering wood chips up to about there. Often use bits of wood or something to define the different areas just to make it a little bit easier. It really helps to know where you've got to put all your materials. So that's the path going down the hill, and this will be all covered with wood chips for this upper level path. So I'm just going to define it and then worry about how thick my compost is later. Definitely the hardest part of no-dig garden building is the moving of the resources. Okay, now this first garden bed is pretty well defined. I'm going to get that defined as well before moving down the rest of the garden. So we'll pop this over here so we know where we're headed. Probably move that up a bit. All right, I think we're good to go there now. I often find it easier just carrying a couple of buckets rather than trying to get my trolley through all the garden. So it's just kind of a back and forth, and try not to think about it. Now with this cabbage that's here, I'm just going to pop this cardboard around it and try and keep the stalk of the plant fairly clear. Now it will let grasses through, but once I harvest the cabbage, I'll be putting another piece of cardboard and then some more compost on top of that, so that hopefully it doesn't become an ongoing issue. It's really good to get this cardboard overlapped as much as possible. Helps stop the running grasses and different weeds coming through. Not ideal, but okay for the moment. Well, as usual, this job has taken way longer than I anticipated, so I'm going to come back and finish this off another day. It's another day and we're back here in the garden to complete this no-dig garden build. You do have to be careful with the cardboard. That's a little gap there, so you just got to make sure that that's covered over really well. So what I'll do, I'll push that to make sure it overlaps with that one so that we've got no issues with the weeds coming through. Oh, mate! What are you doing? Just go over there and just stay there. I nearly stood on that snake again. I spotted it and nearly stood on it right near my gate down the end of the garden, and I thought it might have disappeared kind of going that way, but instead it came right through my garden and I was lucky to have missed it again. It's early July, but it's a really warm day today, and I didn't really expect snakes to be out, but there you go. So be on the watch if it's warm in your area. Well, our garden beds are done, and that's a relief. It's nice to get this whole garden area finished. Now, I won't be planting these out fully just yet, but I do want to start some seedlings here, and I'm just going to use this little frame that I've got to pop into the garden and put some seeds in, and then it's got these little glass covers that goes over the top, and it's like a little mini greenhouse, and it works really well for getting seeds germinated. Okay, so I'm just going to plant out some of my home saved spinach seeds, some baby bok choy, some pak choy, and some choy some Chinese cabbage. I'm just going to put quite a few seeds sort of in each spot and get these growing, so then I can just transplant them out. It's just like a little mini greenhouse. Could do with a little bit of a wash to get all that bird poo off. But lets in plenty of sunlight and keeps it nice and warm to get those seeds germinating. In this spot here, I had that little mini greenhouse to germinate some lettuce seeds, and I've been using the seedlings to transplant around the garden already, and so I'm going to dig up a few more of these and put them into our new garden bed. Now it's just a mix of home saved lettuce seeds, so there's sort of green varieties and red varieties. I really lose track of what's there. So we're going to take that over and get them planted. Well, that's it for today. I've certainly enjoyed finishing off my front yard vegetable garden beds. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the progress too. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.